Thank you, ma'am.
It's 797 KHVN 439. That's our time, making our way through the Brains Drive. Now you know we're getting our self-esteem elevated. Pastor Sederrick Raphiel is here. Our special guest, Mr. Benny Franklin, is here. And we're talking about the law of the lid.
The law of the lid.
Now you hit them right quick, so now we got to break it down.
Okay, let me break this down.
Yes.
Matthew 28 and 18, Christ gave us a mandate to go out and disciple all the nations, right?
Okay.
And we're going to come out here and do that. Part of the discipleship means that it's a influence that we're putting on the people that we're trying to guide and disciple.
Okay.
Now, even though he said go out into the world, but it starts in your home, right? With your children, with your wife. It goes into your job, with your co-workers. It goes into your church and through your ministries. And this can be anything. And so what we're saying is that your leadership capabilities is important because people are noticing everything that you do. And to influence them properly is they're watching your ways, watching what you do, and you have to understand that this is something that you can't just be careless in. You're going to have to take an active participant role in developing yourself. So God gave you some God-given talents and people recognize it, but you're going to have to equip yourself with tools to take yourself to the next level. God has just made you intelligent, too intellectual. He said that you are made in His likeness. So you can't be playing stupid. You can't play that role no more. You're going to have to up your game and then equip yourself with tools to take yourself to the next level. And part of what this class, this mastermind does is that we first level this thing out to say, where are we in our leadership capabilities? There are 21 questions, and we ask you, where do you fit in there? So you can rank yourself from a 10 to a 1. And when you identify the area where you might be deficient in, then we start working on them. And so that's the importance of this law of the lid. Now, one of the things that we did on Monday is that we went into a class called the law of magnetism. This is where I want to bring Benny in because I want to make sure that you guys have an understanding of just one of the classes that we offer. So the law of magnetism, and basically is who we are is who we attract. Now, what the world has done, I don't know if you remember this wildly successful piece called The Secret. The Secret, the book of The Secret, they had DVDs. Come on, Carmen, you act like you don't know that. Okay, that's all right. You don't need to be watching it in the first place. Anyway, The Secret said is that whatever energy that you put out into the universe will return to you. Some people call it karma. Right. Is that, whatever you put out, it comes back into you. But what the law of magnetism says is that who you are is who you attract. So what basically the world has said, birds of a feather actually do flock together. Now, why is this important? Because in some areas, I want to ask you, here's part of the assignment that I want you to just take mental note of. Okay. So say, for example, that you're looking for a mate. And I'm going to give you 2 examples. I want you to look for a mate. Now, I want you to say, if you had to write down a quick 1, 2, 3 of qualities that you're looking for in a mate, what would you say? Now, this is your actual quiz, Carmina. You on the air. I need to say if you are looking for a mate, but I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you my first 3.
All right, you help me.
I put down a commitment. Okay. I put down somebody intellectual. Okay. And somebody who's organized. Good choices. Right. Now, I want you to think about that, and I want you to answer that if you don't mind. Just give me 1 or 2 of them.
1 or 2 things that I would put on that list. Got to be godly. Relationship with God. Want a family or family oriented. Okay. There we go. That's 2.
All right. Now here goes. So here's the thing. The question now you have to ask yourself, do I exhibit those qualities? Not only do I exhibit them, but do I exhibit them in abundance? Because the law of magnetism says that whoever I am is who I will attract. Right. So let's make it a little practical and go into the practical terms. You say, well, I want somebody who's wealthy and got good credit. But if you're sitting over here with a credit score of 400, and guess what? You're exhibiting some behavior that will only attract another brother or sister that has a credit score over 400. Right. This is just what it is. Right. Now, I want Dr. Franklin to expand upon that a little bit.
Well, that's really true. And one thing I'd like to add to all of this development is about us developing inwardly first. So
Exactly.
outwardly we can show up the right way, because leadership truly is an inside job. And so, and the law of magnetism really addresses what a lot of people want. And a lot of people want to be successful. They want different things. They want money. They want the right spouse or potential spouse or the right mate. They want their business to be successful. And all of these things require you, first of all, to exhibit the qualities that you want from someone else in abundance.
Okay.
So without that, then there's no stick-to-itiveness. You won't be able to hold, even if you were able to attract that person, there's nothing there to hold it together, because we always admit that our attraction of other people are our similarities. We have to keep that in mind.
I need you to say that one more time, Doc.
Our attraction of other people are our similarities.
Right. Now, what about the notion that opposites attract?
Well, that's interesting, because a lot of people take this and put it in the wrong context. The metaphor wasn't meant to be used the way it's used today. A lot of people use it to excuse certain behavior that they're not necessarily fond of or approve of. What it actually means is that you want to have somebody like yourself, but you want them to have the same values. You want them to have the same vision.
So fundamentally, that common bond between those two is that we have great values, we have the similar values, we have the similar aspirations, we have the similar goals, but somebody might be an introvert and then somebody else might be an
Correct.
extrovert.
You're gifted in different areas. So your giftedness are polar opposites, not your values or your desires. Or, for example, if you're somebody in the church and your mate is in the street constantly, you're not aligned. Now, and that's not what it means. It means that you want to be equally yoked, but you
Right.
want to be with someone, even within your organization, that's gifted in different areas. You don't want a whole lot of people around you like you, because if you do, you would not be complete. You need people that complete you, that are gifted in other areas, so you can rely upon them to complete you or fulfill a certain need. For example, my wife, she and I are total opposites. We have the same values, we have the same vision, but her area of giftedness is her ability to be, she's very organized and she's very conservative. Well, I'm not. Let me just leave it at that.
Okay.
So in that regard, we do, that's our polarization there.
Okay.
But the stickiness comes in with the same core value, so that magnetism is what you're going to draw back to yourself, is that same heart for people, that same ideal nature that you do, and then that what bonds you together. Now, we go back to our core values of what we're talking about, is that in leadership growth, is that God is requiring us to step our game up again. And that causes us to go back what we always talk about, having a conscious mind. So if we sat down here and we sat down and thinking that we are complete in ourselves, we're fooling ourselves. We're always on constant growth. God is taking us from one trial to another trial, to one tribulation to another tribulation, to grow us.
Right.
It's all about the journey. And then what he's asking us to do is always examine that. He says, now look at what happened. And so you're taking a complete examination of yourself and saying, well, you know what? I didn't demonstrate the proper behavior here, or the proper mindset over here, or the proper planning. And so I need to grow. I need to get my leadership capabilities to a higher level. And the next thing you know, as you're going from elevation to elevation, guess what's going to happen? You're going to attract different people. I'm not hanging with the same people I used to hang with 4 years ago, when I got called into ministry. I'm just not. And the thing about it is that as I've gotten better and deeper understanding in my leadership capabilities, those people that recognize that and want to get poured into, they come along. And so that's when you see growth in ministry, growth in your business, growth in everything else. And so this is what we're telling.
One thing I like to add, that there is a flower that blooms when you practice the law of magnetism. And the flower that blooms is that you eliminate the weeds of selfishness and insecurity. Because you are dependent upon this other person. You're actually allowing them to be part of what you're part of. And you do it without being insecure, not worried about getting the credit, because you know that they complete you and you need that aspect of that person's giftedness.
Right. And I'll put that in some practical terms, is that if we do that same exercise and you looked at that as an employer and you're looking for an employee, well, when I put my list together and say what are the qualities that I want them to have, I wanted somebody proactive, that was professional, and then that was as an expert in their field. And so what happens is that because I have such a standard in my office, even though I might suffer from the same thing of being organized, but that other person that comes in is proactive, they're professional, and then they can assist me in organization, because some giftedness, and you know some of those spiritual gifts is organization or administration. But we have the common thread of what we were looking for, and then I can rely on them. I don't have to be one of those control freak bosses that's trying to do everything and micromanage it. But I also, in the ministry side, I can be up in the pulpit and get ready to preach a sermon and not wondering if they're doing communion right. And I have to go run out the pulpit and then serve that up there. I'm like, be still and trust in your people. And when we put that trust in them, they grow, because we're equipping them as leaders.
Right. Right.
That's just part of the principles.
That's good. That's good. Well, you know what? It's our time, but let's go ahead and get some information on how they can follow you guys, or if they want to come out and be a part of the meeting.
I got something for you.
All right.
Now, what we're doing right now is that you know, we're taking on more classes, and people have been calling for what we're doing under Masterminds.
Okay.
So you can still reach us and look at the website.
Look at God.
theharvestministry.com. It's phase 1 of it. It's going to get richer and more complete. And if you've missed one of these segments that we've had in the radio station, they'll be available online as well. So I think we have about 4 of those of our episodes together as well.
Amen. Amen. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And of course, Mr. Franklin, we thank you for joining us today and being a blessing. You didn't leave us with an assignment.
Well, this is the assignment. I want you to take this for real.
Okay.
When you go back, I want you to look at the 3 qualities that you seek out in a mate.
Okay.
The 3 qualities that you seek out in a mate. And I want you to take a separate vertical in the 3 qualities that you will look for in an employee, or a potential employee.
Okay.
And then you write those down. And when you look at it, and if I'm looking for somebody who's organized, committed, and intellectual, I have to say, am I that in abundance? And you need to be very honest about it. And if you are not, and this is what the whole idea is about, if you look at it and you say, you know what, I'm lacking in that particular area, that is God saying, great job, Sederrick. Now go equip yourself and give yourself the tools that you need to take your leadership qualities to the next level.
Man.
That's it.
Right. Well, that's it.
Ain't nobody else going to do it. I don't care why people think that God is going to be a genie. You rub them and say, I just want all my trials and tribulations to be good. I want to be this. Give me $1 million. He says, knock and the door shall be open. He says, seek and you shall find. It's predicated on us getting off our butts and doing something for real. We can't take all the work and put it on God. We got to do something. We got to start something somewhere. Right?
That's it.
Come
That's
on.
it. All right, y'all. That's our time. Keep it right here. We've got more on the way. Now, don't forget, I've got a chance for you to meet the cast of Sinful Confessions. We're going to get a moment of hope and